Hello.
Hello, Des. How are
Hello,
you?
Des. Oh my God. Khalifa. Well, actually, I'm not going to ask you how are you because there is going to be a regular episode that's going to come out before this one, where I'll ask
Yes.
you how you're doing.
Yeah.
Welcome to the very first MK Spoilercast about a video game.
You're gonna get 3 of these a year.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the person opposite of me does not finish video games very often.
Mm-hmm.
Notoriously. He's getting better at it though.
Thank you for adding that.
Yeah.
So after you heard our little episode about video games, obviously you know that the co-hosts of MK share a love of video games, and it's always been wild that we never talked about video games on the pod
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah. It's I think we're gonna talk about I just revealed the secret of the pod. We're recording this before the actual episode.
Oh.
But we probably have talked about how, like, it was our first thing, you know what I mean? It's the thing that brought us together, basically. So yeah, it's a really exciting time for the pod. Very, very exciting times. I'm really, really excited.
Me too, baby. The game of today's episode is going to be Stray, which was developed
Right.
by who?
Mhm.
Was it
was
Annapurna?
developed by
No.
It was published by Annapurna Interactive. We'll talk about Annapurna in a bit. But it was developed, though I'm not sure, I don't remember the team. This is so unprofessional, but like it's a new team. It's a brand new team. This is their first game.
This is
So
their first game.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And it keeps
Period.
out. We'll talk about
Oh. Now, Stray. Stray has been a game that I've been very excited for ever since I saw the first trailer. It looked really cute, and I am an owner of a cat or two. So yeah, I was hooked like from the beginning, and I think you were too, right?
I was, yeah. So Stray was announced at the big PlayStation 5 reveal showcase, I believe. It was one of the first, like take us back to, I don't know, 2019. Was the PS5 revealed in 2019? I don't remember.
I think it was 2020.
It was 2019.
Are you
Wasn't it?
sure? Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah, because like it launched before the pandemic, right?
Babes, I don't think so.
Okay, it was 2020, I guess. I don't know. It was during the pandemic, yeah. So, anyways, it was a part of the first big showcase, where they announced Miles Morales, where they announced, all the bigger stuff, and they revealed that the console was, a thing.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. It was a big deal for this small indie game to be at that showcase. So, like, I'm not sure if that. I don't know. I'm not sure if that, had something to do with, how I felt about it after I beat it or when I played it.
And it looked
how
stunning, by the way.
it looks very stunning. For an indie game from a small team, it looks wonderful.
It looks
exquisite.
a little bit.
Yeah, it looks. We'll talk about the visuals, but like it looks amazing. But like, yeah, like when they revealed it at the showcase, it kind of put it in the higher echelon of like, oh, this is something I'm looking forward to, and I'm expecting a certain level of quality from this game. And we'll see how it turns out. In addition, it's published by Annapurna. So,
and Annapurna
yeah,
you do this.
Annapurna, if y'all know the company A24 for movies that publishes movies, Annapurna is the A24 of video games. It is. Yeah, it is the prestige. Like, if something is being published by Annapurna, it's gonna do something to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of aims to be high art.
It aims to be high art. It aims to be, something special. It's kind of a seal of approval a little bit.
Yeah.
So expectations were sky high for this game. I'm being honest. Like I went into it with really high expectations because Annapurna has made some. In the past year, they've had a bunch of misses, which is unfortunate. 12 minutes was really bad. What was the other really bad game they put out? Maquette was not great.
I forgot that Maquette was Annapurna.
Oh my god,
Okay.
Maquette was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But like they've made some bangers. I mean, Sayonara Wild Hearts, we both loved. It was my game of the year
Love
in
What
2019.
Remains of Edith Finch is
Edith Finch was amazing. Outer Wilds is
amazing.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Gorogoa is amazing. You know what I mean? Like they've produced a bunch of really published, sorry, a bunch of really great stuff. So yeah, I had really high expectations for this.
Period. A lot of that is in the past tense, so I'm wondering why. Should we go ahead and like start talking about Stray?
Yeah, let's start talking about story. Let's do story first. Like let's do story, then gameplay, then we'll talk about random stuff like music and presentation and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like that.
I was gonna suggest we talk about gameplay first because that's like the most in your face element about the game.
I'm okay with starting with anything. Do you feel like talking about gameplay first?
I feel like because with story, well, do you want to talk about the story because it's not a lot?
It's not a lot. Yeah, let's just start with story.
All right. So the story
Or
is
lack
Stray.
thereof, I guess.
You start you start playing as this cat, this unnamed cat, alongside your like a group of like other cats.
Yeah.
And yeah, the prologue is like you just like messing around with them and like walking around and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, and you get like hints that like the world is like kind of run down and like
It's kind of
what's going on there.
deteriorating, yeah. I will say, like, in that opening section, I was stuck for like 10 minutes because I was like convinced interacting with the cast was optional and I had to go somewhere. And I was like intentionally avoiding pressing the triangle button next to cast because I was like, where am I supposed to go? This is totally optional. I don't want to do this shit.
Oh, in the very beginning, like before
the
you go to
very
sleep?
beginning of the game when you're in that like grassy area. I
kept just messing with the meow button. Like I kept just meowing and meowing.
I forgot that it was but I forgot that was a thing.
Really?
Like in the middle
I
of the
never
game.
stopped meowing the entire game. I never stopped meowing.
I completely forgot it was a thing.
So yeah, you're like hanging out with your cats and like you're like maneuvering. There's no clear goal. You're just like walking around, and then oh my god, you step on like a shaky pipe, and then the pipe breaks, and then you're like it's like a struggle bus, like trying to hang onto the ledge, and then the other cats definitely like they don't give a shit. They're just like watching.
Yeah. I mean, they're cats. They're cats.
They are cats, so they're unbothered. This was heartbreaking. Like I felt so bad for the kitty. Yeah, you fall through a trash, blah blah. I'm not gonna go through every story beat, but
yeah,
basically, you encounter these creatures called Zerks.
Zerks are like the little things that chase you.
Yeah.
Yeah, baddies.
The baddies. And you go to a town and you find that there's a lot of robots. You meet a robot called B12, and he's your sidekick, and he gives you a mission of like, oh, let's go back to the outside. That's
and the robot and B12 is like a little flying robot thing that stays on the back of the cat, whereas the other robots in the story are all like humanoid a little bit. Not super humanoid. They have like TVs for faces, but like they're they have human proportions. They're tall and like yeah. The only small robot in the game is the B12, which I think is interesting.
I think the word you're looking for is anthropomorphic.
Is B12 anthropomorphic?
No. All robots other than B12 are anthropomorphic.
I thought anthropomorphic means you look like animals.
No. I think it means you look like a human.
What is the one where you look like animals? What is it called?
That's a very good question. Anthropomorphology. It's the study of what makes us human. Yeah.
All right, so maybe like I don't know. Yeah, I guess the robots are anthropomorphic. Okay, I do think it's an interesting note that like B12. I just thought about this. B12 is the only
spoilers.
We're doing full spoilers. Who cares? But like, it doesn't have anything to do with the, which I think is interesting. Like, why?
Okay. Yeah, not at all.
So like, that's interesting.
I will say a lot of the story is told in a very simple way. It's like, okay, go here, go there, help this person, help that person. Game over. And the rest of the story is sold through environmental cues. Yeah, you
there's
kind
just
of like
little
just.
optional memories you can activate that makes
Mhm.
like B12 remember stuff. Yeah, but like you never really get a lot of like there's, for example, like there's a plant you can remember something from, and he's like, oh, we used to have these all around the place, and that's it. That's the
And
memory.
that's it. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're not giving me anything extra, but like, yeah, it's like it's not really a particularly story heavy game. It's a lot more like, it's a lot more like vibey.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting into spoilers, Khalifa, what happened to the world? Like there was a pandemic,
I am.
or is this a
I
pollution
don't.
thing?
I literally don't. I don't think they ever explain it. So like, there's this thing. It turns out that like you're in some place that was like locked down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I didn't get the overarching story of like the place was. I guess it was locked down because it got infested with Zerks, and that's why they were like, let's shut it off from the rest of the world. But they never really get into it that much, I've noticed.
And I think, okay, you just finished this a couple of days ago. I finished it,
Yeah.
I think 4 days before you, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really remember, but was there something about the Zerks being created by humans?
Not, maybe it's, I'm not that I remember.
Okay. Then what
No.
was the thing? There was something that was created by humans, and then it ended up like causing this whole thing.
I know. I don't know what you're talking about. Like
Okay.
I never really got anything like that from the thing. All I know, so it's like you keep going through, and like the little robot finds out that he used to be a human. He's like, oh my god, and he like, and you like the area after that, he's like, I don't want to talk to anybody, I don't want to translate, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Very dramatic. But then he's fine, and it's like, oh, so the way you communicate with the other is because the little robot is translating for you. The cat can't talk. So that happens, and then you like, the story doesn't really make like, it didn't really leave an impression on me because like a lot of it was like just there. I don't know, like I'm not sure what the sequence of events was. Okay, he was a human, but I'm not sure like what happened to the humans. You know what I mean? Like
and there are like these 4 robots that are like, like they were not scientists, but they had like a goal of like reaching the outside, but then for some reason they all got separated.
Yeah.
Who were the 4? Momo, Doc,
Clementine, and I don't remember the fourth one.
Okay. Oh, Zabaltazar or whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they keep saying like there's this whole thing where they keep wanting to go outside, blah blah blah. The outside in the first area, in the first like hub area of the game, people are like, the outside is a myth. Don't believe in it, blah blah blah. I'm not sure if are there humans on the outside? I don't know. And they like locked in these robots. I don't know. Like I don't know plot. I don't think they ever. I think it's intentional.
Yeah, I think it is intentional. So I have I had a theory. So so you did replay the game, right? Like, did you go through the speed run?
No, I didn't feel like it.
Okay, period.
I didn't like the game very much.
Ooh. Okay. We'll talk about that in a bit.
We'll talk
but
about it.
How when the first place you meet B12, you drop him out of a box.
Yes.
And in that room, there, I don't know if you noticed, but there's like a huge pod thing. The pod that okay. The pod that the human used to put his consciousness in B12.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's what I figured as well.
Those pods are. That's not the only place where that pod is. There's one in Ant Village.
Yeah, there's also like immediately when you go in, there's one. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are also some other ones scattered. So I think that all the humans like transferred their consciousness into robots.
Then what is the outside?
Fuck if I know.
What is the outside? And then like And then so your main goal is basically you open the gate and like get to the outside at the end of like that's the main goal that's driving you through the story. And at the end of the game, you end up in this like space station looking thing. It's not really a space station, but when you walk in and look like at the window, it's like fully black and there's like a bunch of dots, and I was like, oh my god, we're in space.
Yeah, it did.
I was like, I immediately thought we were in space, but it turns out no, it's just like it's a facility that looks like a space station. And then you open the gate and the game ends. Oh, B12 dies. Not a single fuck was given from my. I mean, I didn't care.
I mean, there wasn't much character building there, so it's like, okay, like B12 is the one that gets the most during the game, and there's still not much, you know.
It's not big. B12 is not real. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, if you want to do this death scene, because the way they did the way they did the death scene, it made you. The intention behind it was to make you like emotional, like you can tell, and. Okay, if you want to do that, that's great. But where was the character? B12 has no character. Like, he used to be human, but like he doesn't really. Most of his dialogue is just like tutorials or like translating for people or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of like, personality there, and that works sometimes when the person with you, like for example, let's take Navi from Ocarina of Time, for example, a really popular example. Navi's not a great, character or whatever. But at the end of the game, when she's gone, it's like, oh my god, this person has been with me all this time.
Yeah, and like you form a bond from how
you form a bond,
useful even though, or helpful she was.
Yeah, even though like she doesn't have much of a personality. With this one, the game isn't nearly long enough for you to form a bond.
Yeah.
So it's like he just dies at the end, and I'm like, okay. Bye. I don't know. And the cat doesn't give a fuck too. It's a cat.
Yeah, the cat doesn't give a fuck. I want to tell you, the way this game ends really made me drop like the score a little bit, because I was looking forward to being reunited with all my cat friends, and I didn't even get to. Like, the cat just fucks off.
The game just ends.
Like,
the game literally just ends.
The gate
like, there's
opens
no
ending.
And
we just go. We just leave, and that's
it.
And
it's like, okay, I have a lot of complicated feelings towards this game. I mean, yeah, the story. Part of me wishes, like, I understand what they were trying to do, and but it feels like they came up with the setting first, and they were like, we need to write a story around it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the thought process of the entire game. It's like, okay,
absolutely,
we're gonna play the cat.
Yeah.
Oh, what's an interesting setting? Okay, let's put it with robots, blah blah blah, and then piece together.
They asked our directors are like, okay, they were like, we want a cat game, and we want it to be cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Let's write a story around that. And it's like, you can very much tell. So
yeah, I love the setting though. I love
the settings. I love the setting. Love the setting.
I love the vibe. I
love the setting so much that during the moments when you leave the main areas, I'm like, oh, I want to get back.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Before you go to the sewers, there's a robot like at the gate that's like, hey, it feels like you're not gonna come back. So if you want to do stuff here, like, now's the chance before you leave. And every game has this. It's like, okay, we're gonna fully move on from this. And it always felt sad. Like, I didn't want to leave these hub areas.
The hub areas are the best part of the game. Do you want to transition to gameplay? Are we done with story?
Let me
do you have anything else to add?
No, gameplay.
Let's do gameplay.
I loved the gameplay, honestly. I think for me, the setting and the gameplay saved the game, because it was so fun. Like, the cattiness of it all. There's not a single surface that I didn't scratch in the game. I slept everywhere. Like, it was
well,
you know
about sleeping
just
everywhere,
like
so
messing around like a cat. Are we really gonna go there, bitch? Are we really gonna go there?
Okay. Here's
the thing. I really like it, and I feel like they did the best that they could with, okay, let's play as a cat.
Here's the thing. So the way the gameplay works is that it's Sort of. The most of the game is like a walking simulator, basically, or like a running simulator. Like there's puzzles, there's like, you know, whatever, blah blah blah. But there are like 3 in the game where you can talk to people, quests, whatever, blah blah. The we'll get into that later, but the actual gameplay of like moving, I think moving the cat feels good, which is something I know, something very basic, but a lot of games even moving doesn't really feel good. It feels clunky. Moving feels good.
Yeah.
In the game, there's no jump button. Like the way you the way you jump on top of places and rooftops and like go wherever you want is that the game has specific areas put in by the developers where you can jump to. Press X to jump to. Like you don't have control when you can jump or not. And I think it mostly works. It's just something I found irritating was sometimes when the devs want you to, the cat can make a crazy jump. And when the devs don't want you to, it can't make the smallest jump. And it's like, I'm not sure if that would have been fixed with like a free jump button. I think that would have broken the game because you would have been able to get anywhere you want. And it's obviously not. Like, you can't really, it's really tough to build a game around that. It's not, this game is not really an open world game necessarily. It has open areas.
Yeah.
But I wish the jumping was a little more consistent, because in the first hub world, there's like a little side quest where you have to collect these cans to give to like a seller to buy stuff from him.
Yeah.
And one of them, and you get the cans from vending machines. One of the vending machines was on like a little rooftop thing.
It was like a balcony of an apartment. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like I immediately, it was the first vending machine I saw.
Oh.
And yeah.
Bitch, I was looking for that for like 20 minutes.
It was the first one I saw. I spent 20 minutes trying to get to it, but it was the first one I saw. And that's what was frustrating, because I was on the building opposite of it, and it's like, I know the cat can make that jump. I just made a jump like that.
Yeah.
Just a few moments ago. But like there was no prompt to jump to the balcony. And I like small stuff like that sometimes really, really irritates me. I know this is like nitpicking, but it's a huge part of the game. And when you don't get it just right, it can be a little annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that getting annoying if I went through that. I didn't go through any scenario in my playthrough where like, oh, I can see something but I can't jump to it. So
it happened to me like 3 times. It was frustrating. And I will say, so in the game you can collect items and like talk to people and show them items. Something I found a little disappointing, and this is also another nitpick. You can show people, like when you talk to robots, you can choose which item to show them. Yeah. There's a lot of repeated dialogue.
Oh,
if they don't know what the item is. So it's like, if you show them, for example, like this picture to a robot, and he's like, I don't know who that is. And it's like, okay, you go to another, he says the exact same thing. This is fine in open world games, but a game that has this amount of NPCs, I wish everyone had something else to say. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, this is real. Like, you couldn't write like a line of dialogue.
Some people have like a unique dialogue responses, like to the items, but it's like, oh, everyone else has one, and there are some people that have like special ones.
Yeah,
I didn't really mind that. Like, I think, I don't know. Like, I've always faced this in games before, so like
and this is what comes at the cost of being an Annapurna game. Because if I'm playing an Annapurna game, if I'm playing a Naughty Dog game, if I'm playing, blah, 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 I'm going to expect different responses, because that's the level of quality I've come to expect from stuff like this. That, like, even small stuff like that, it's like, okay, it's just one line of dialogue. Like, could you not write? Dev team, hello. Get it together, you know what I mean? Making games is so easy. Like, it's just
babes
dialogue. Come on. I'm just kidding. Making games is very tough, and I understand like they probably had to cut corners and stuff like that. It's understandable. But this game doesn't have a lot of NPCs. Like, not a
I'll
lot.
tell you something. So I got the poncho that the grandma makes very early in the game, and I had it the entire game, and I well, not the entire game until I gave it to someone, but I gave it to that person without that person asking because I was just messing around with every NPC and showing them the poncho.
Me too.
Oh,
Same thing.
okay.
Same exact thing happened to me.
Okay, I didn't know that this person needed the
Was
poncho.
cold. I didn't know he was cold.
Me too. Me too. So I just gave it to him, and he was like, "Thanks." And it's like, oh, he just took it, like gave me nothing. Okay, I'll just move on.
Yeah.
But
this
then
is something
in my replay, I found out what the use of the poncho is.
What did he say? Why did he need it?
So remember, okay, what's the name of Doc's son?
I don't remember.
Okay, you know the son, like you're in the bar and then the son like storms off and then you go into his house and then you find a secret room. That guy. You find like a broken tractor and then you need someone to fix it. You go to Elliot to fix it.
Yeah.
So if you go to him and he doesn't have the poncho already, he's like, I would fix it, but I'm too cold. I would love for something like to help me, blah blah. So then you go.
Isn't he inside a building now? How's he called?
I don't know.
Work.
He just is.
Period. This is something I appreciate about the game. Something I appreciate and something like it's a bit of a negative too. I don't know how to feel about it. A lot of the collectibles are in your face. A lot of the items are very in your face that you need to get, blah, 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 to the point where most of my experience with the people that I needed to give items to was like that. I gave them the item before they asked me to. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, I just missed a chunk of why he needs this thing.
But it's like, okay, we're moving on.
Yeah. So it's like, I thought that was interesting. And also the memories are, and this is something I appreciate, I got all the memories on my first playthrough without looking at a guide or whatever.
Me too.
Which I think it was really cool. But also, I wish they were a little bit more hidden. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. And I wish the memories in general had more substance. Like, I think it's cute. It's a cute mechanic. And I think it's cute that the game tells you that there's like 2 more in this area or whatever.
Yeah. And you can kind of see like, okay, what does the area look like? So you can find it. Or did you not know that?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
And it's like it's also like in chronological order, so it's like if you like missed one, it doesn't put it in the slot of like the one you missed, which I think is neat. It means it's like, I missed one before this section. Let me go back and like look for it.
Yeah.
But I just wish they had a little bit more substance. You know what I mean? Because like we talked about this at the beginning a little bit, but like when he's like, there's one in an apartment and it has a poster of a video game, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. Like he's like, what is he gonna remember? And he's like, oh, I used to play video games.
Yeah, and that's it.
I'm like, okay.
And I don't think he said that he used to play. I think he's like, oh, a lot of humans used to play video games.
Used to play video games, yeah. It's like, oh, okay, because it was before the reveal.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay. So I wish they were a little bit more substantial, especially in something like this, because like this game really needed a lot. Like the world building was nice, but I needed more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't know, but like, yeah, I think.
Even though there's a full chapter where like B12 kind of like shuts down because of the realization that he's a human, nothing really changes after he realizes he's human. He
gets over it very quickly.
Yeah. Like, okay, I'm human, I guess.
I will say something really positive stuff. The areas are wonderful. The hub areas. I'm keeping it to the hub areas. I'm not talking about the entire game. We'll talk about it. But the hub areas are really, really wonderful to explore. They're like the amount of detail is insane. Like they are so detailed and so cozy, and so. I remember there's an area in the first hub world that's like a library, and it's like you go in. Oh my god! Yes. And it's like every single book is like so meticulously placed, and I was like, oh my god! Like this, somebody really spent time putting this together, and like
and you can
really
mess with everything. That. You can like push the stacks of books. You can climb and sleep in the shelves. Yeah. Did you find that spot
of the sleeping? Yeah. Yeah.
where you can sleep between the shelves.
Yeah.
It's really
It's right
cute.
next to the guy, right? It's like above his table.
It is next to the guy. Yeah.
So that's, and like that amount of detail is in every single hub area of the game. Like all the hub areas obviously had the most work put into them, and you can tell.
Oh, absolutely.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Very, very detailed, very cozy. Like it really was like, I was like, wow, like this is really great. Like they really put a lot of heart into this, and you can tell. So that's something I really appreciate. And the hub areas to me are the best part of the game. Like hands down.
Period.
Not even
Period.
close.
I loved the hub areas. I just honestly, I know I said this already, but I love the cattiness of it all. I love that I get to meow whenever I want. I love that I can go scratch surfaces. I love that I can go sleep in place. Like it's just like I love it. Khalifa, scratching carpets is so fucking satisfying, especially with like the dual senses. Are they called adaptive
Haptics.
Triggers? What is it? Haptics.
Yeah.
Haptic. Yeah. The triggers are like no. I'm talking about
they
the triggers.
push back. Yeah. The haptic, haptic, like things. I don't know. The dual sense features. I don't know.
Yeah, that. Well, the triggers just felt so good, like when you scratch things. And Khalifa, I would scratch things for like 10 minutes straight, like not doing nothing, and I'd like turn off my mind and just keep scratching.
I think out of all the PlayStation gimmicks, I think the DualSense stuff is the best they've done. By far.
Absolutely.
It always feels really good and like really immersive and feeling really nice. The light bar on the DualShock 4 is shaking. Remember when that was a thing? Oh, the light bar turns.
And they thought they ate that with like the color changing.
That. The color turns red when your health is low. Whoa, bitch! I can't see it. Who the fuck cares? Like, hello.
And if you play in the dark, babes, it glares on the screen. So like,
it's so annoying. Yeah.
What was your favorite area in the game, by the way? Out of the hubs.
Oh, that's a tough one. I really love all the hubs. Midtown was great.
Midtown was like another, like it was really good.
Midtown was great, but like I loved the coziness of Ant Village.
Me too. Yeah. I was gonna say Ant Village is my favorite, because I just loved like how it was structured. It was like, okay, these like multiple levels, and like you walk around, and
it's the only one that's not overwhelming, because
at all.
When you get to Midtown, it's a lot. Like
Midtown is very overwhelming. Yeah,
you're this small cat, and there's so many places you can go, and it's like, oh my god, there's a lot to explore, and I don't want to miss anything, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like Ant Village is fully built. Like, okay, this is floor 1. Explore everything here, and then you can go up a floor. That's fine.
Part of me wishes that we started with Ant Village and then the slums and then Midtown.
That progression path makes the most sense, because it's like small, then bigger, then biggest.
Yeah.
We start with the slums, which are like also big.
The slums are cute. Like going through the rooftops. I really did miss going through rooftops in Midtown, but I do think that the city aspect is much better. I feel like each hub shines in its own way, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I think I wish. I don't know if I should make this point, because I don't know how I like. I'm not sure if like how I really feel about this criticism, but I wish the slums and Midtown had much more separate identities. They're separate, but it's a lot of the visual design felt kind of the same. Whereas with like Ant Village, it looked very different than both of them. You know what I mean? It looked like this garden place.
Ant Village reminded me of that one village from Breath of the Wild.
Oh, not the worst game of all time. Which one?
the Rito village.
Oh yeah,
with the bird people.
With the huts.
Yeah. It reminded me of that.
The hub area is great. Where I think the game falters is when you leave the hub areas and go into these fucking boring ass sections. Like I don't know where the visual design goes when you leave the hub areas.
What was your least favorite area in the game?
The prison.
Me too. Me too.
Down.
I fucking hated that chapter. Like,
fucking hated the prison.
Khalifa,
Stop
as
putting
soon...
stealth sections and fucking games that weren't built around stealth. Like, it's not that hard. Please stop doing that.
Very that. Because Khalifa, like, as soon as we went into the prison, I was like, oh no, I can sense the flop energy coming from this chapter. Like,
so visually, it's so boring. Gameplay wise, it's frustrating and annoying. It's just like, why?
Yeah, the prison
you know what
brought
I mean?
it down for me, to be honest. Like, I wish they didn't include that.
And it's like one of the final chapters of the game too. And it's like, you're going on this, really?
And it's like it comes at just the point where it's like, okay, it's not getting old, but it's kind of like, okay, like you need to do something fresh.
I wish the prison wasn't even. I wish like you immediately went to the thing and then ended the game.
Yeah.
Why was this here?
I have no idea why they had to.
It's so
prison.
It's so frustrating, and like, I hated the prison. I also hated the
sewers?
I didn't hate them. But I disliked the sewers too. I don't know. Like,
I was fine with the sewers.
Gameplay wise, they're fine. The sewers are fine, but like visually, like you go from the slums, which are very beautiful, to the sewers, and it's like really, it's just sewers. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay,
I will
we're
say
just in
though,
sewers.
The only nice looking areas that were not hubs is the first one that you go to, the one with like the building. It was very Resident Evil-esque a little bit in the beginning, if you remember.
Which one are you talking about?
In the very beginning, once you meet Momo, he opens the window and he's like, "Hey, head on over to like that building to put the transmitter."
Oh yeah,
go to a building.
Yeah.
Like that was a nice looking area. Even though it was not as nice as the rest, but I'd say it's the best non-hub.
I just don't know why. I just don't get why I'm sure that they it's a lot darker and scarier because you're going outside these hub worlds and it's dangerous. But I just don't know why some of the really creative and interesting visual design wasn't carried to any of these areas. It's like it's like you're in this really cool cyberpunk, places, and it's like you go to the prison, it's just a prison.
Yeah.
It's just like a real life prison. Like there's nothing unique about it. You know what I mean? The same thing with the sewers. They're just sewers. The same thing with like the rooftops. They're just like the section after you leave Midtown. They're just like rooftops. So it's like, I don't understand why that there's a lack of that. I understand that they want to make it look drab and like different, like because it gives you a sense of like uneasiness and like whatever. But yeah, I just wish there was more of that. There's one really funny section, but I don't know why it was in the game. There's like this. You get on top of a cart and there's this like Uncharted section of like a cutscene playing, and the cart like is like going really fast, and then it drops the cat, and I'm like, what?
this section, the whole prison section with Clementine, when she takes the car and then you pull the lever and then you run to the car and then the little robots are following you. In my first playthrough of the game, I completely missed that section. I didn't miss it, but I went back too fast and I didn't have the section of the car moving. So as soon as they went back to the car, it just suddenly, the car was transported in the tunnel, and like it was like, okay, what happened?
That's very funny.
It was just like a chunk that was just skipped, and I was like, okay.
How did you skip that?
I just went back too fast. I don't know how, but I went back too fast.
So interesting. That's really funny. Oh my god.
Like, you know how as soon as you get back to the car, it should start moving right in front of you.
And before you can jump onto it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't move for me. I just jumped in.
Period. We love that. We love that for you. Yeah, but the prison area. The reason the prison area is the worst, it's because they introduced new gameplay mechanics in it, which is fine. But it's stealth based, and it's like, I love a good stealth game. Metal Gear Solid, sign me the fuck up. You know what I mean? I love good Sly Cooper. I love good stealth shit. This game was not built with stealth mechanics in mind.
Oh, absolutely.
And plenty of games do this, and it's always shit.
I will say though, It was very challenging for me because I was addicted to meowing, and like when you meow, it alerts everything around you. So yeah.
Again, I forgot the meow button was a thing. I wish the meow button did something aside from that. Like I wish, I don't know, like if you like, there's one section of the game where it's like you have to knock bottles on someone to wake them up. And I wish like you could just like get on the table and meow their fucking face off until they wake up. Like make it a mechanic. I don't know. It's just like a thing you can do. You know what I mean?
The meowing didn't like come into play like at all.
Yeah, except during the stealth sections, because sometimes you do need to meow to get the attention of, you know,
and like lure them.
Lure them, little flying robots. It wasn't built with stealth in mind, the game. So it's like the stealth is clunky. It's clunky. And then the robots, when they catch you, they shoot these 4 bullets that you can like sometimes easily dodge. Sometimes they track you and kill you immediately. And it's like, what? There's no consistency.
You know the section when you're back in Midtown after the factory, and then Clementine's apartment building is like, it has a lot of like drones.
Yeah.
I was caught from the very beginning, but I just kept running to the top and I made it. And like
that's what I did.
All of these robots were following me, trying to shoot at me, but I was like, you know, moving left and right and dodging all of the shots, and it's like I just made it.
Yeah, and it's like, why is there stuff you can do? It's just it's frustrating and weird. And like in the prison section, you have to do these things where you have to lure them and trap them inside stuff. And it's like you do it once and it's cute, and then there's a section where you have to do it multiple times again, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like,
and like that section is right after the section before, and it's like, can we have a little break between that? I don't like.
Yeah, the prison felt like padding, to be honest.
It felt like padding, and it really brought the game down. Really brought the game down for me. Like, I was up until the prison. I ended up giving the game a 3.5 out of 5. Up until the prison,
so a 7.
So prison. A 7, by the way, on the rating scale of video games is good. I think it's a good game. So, up until the prison, it was at a 4 out of 10, which is an 8, which is great. I was having a great time, even though I had problems. I was like, this is great. We got to the prison, and it was like a combination of like, this game is going on for a little too long, and a combination of like, this isn't great. So like, it really, I wish it wasn't there. I really wish it wasn't there.
Yeah. Honestly, this has nothing to do with anything, but you said something about the meow button just being there for being there. I wish there was like a grooming button, and like I just hold it and like the cat grooms itself.
Honestly, if you want to do like some stuff like that, yeah, go the full mile with it. You know what I mean? Add more stuff. Because like it's just the meowing and the scratching. The scratching is nice. I was stuck on the first drug that I scratched because I thought there was gonna be like it was gonna end, and I kept going for like. Same. And I'm like, am I supposed to stop doing this or what? You know what I mean? But the scratching is nice. I stopped doing it like halfway through the game because I was like, I want to finish this. I'm kind of over it. But yeah, the meowing, I wish it came into play more often. There is a section,
you know,
of the
that
game...
one section. What? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you know the one section with the shoe shop? No, not the shoe shop. Sorry, the hat shop where you have to be in the box so you can sneak in. Babes, I was meowing the entire time in the box, and like it's like there's ain't nothing sneaky about it. It's like meow meow meow, and I'm like walking in and like nothing's affecting anything.
Sometimes it's the little details like that. I wish it affected it. You know what I mean? I don't know. There is one section of the game where you get like a weapon to kill the Zergs that chase you. They afterwards, and it's like, oh, that's okay.
But I mean, it makes sense because you never encounter Zergs after that.
That is true, but like it still feels like taking away like something they gave you, like a progression based thing.
Yeah.
There's some we talked about this a little bit outside of the pod, but like while playing Stray, I was like, I feel like I'm playing an episodic game. That's stuck together. I have issues with the pacing of this game. It's really weird. And I wish it was cut up into parts. I don't know. I don't know why. But like I feel like it being not necessarily like episodic, just I mean, it would have been interesting if it was episodic because there is, as I said, there is no really sense of progression. Like, you don't power up, you don't do anything, so it's really easy to make it episodic.
Yeah.
But I wish it was like cut like fully. When you start a chapter, it says like chapter 1, chapter 2. You know what I mean? Instead of like it feeling like a game that weaves in. لأن I feel like an episodic structure or nature would have fit this game more than like, what we got. Is Midtown. You know what I mean? And then when we're done with that, we're done with that. And it's like sometimes you go back to places and it's like, I don't like. I also wish sometimes, because you go to the slums twice, right?
Yeah.
I wish everything was explorable the first time, because like in the slums there are sections locked away until, and I thought it was just, I don't know, like I like it. From a certain point of view, it's like, oh, you're going back to the same area, but like now there's more to explore, like in Metroidvania.
Yeah, but not that much more. It's just like a couple of areas.
Exactly. Extra. It's like not that much more. So it's like I wish it was all available from the very beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a very complicated feelings towards this game.
Small thing. I love all the comforting moments that come with the game. Like a very underrated thing is the music sheets that you collect and you give to that like one musician.
He starts playing them.
That was like really cozy. Like with her like playing it, and like I just like walk around and like listen to the music and vibe.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
General presentation stuff is great. The music, here's the thing. I've gotten to a point with video games where it's like, it's 3 levels. Bad music stands out, good music really stands out, and then ambient music, which is in this game, like it doesn't really stand out, but it fits the vibe. I feel like this is what this is.
Yeah,
like I can't remember
nothing to say about the music.
I can't remember a single track from the game, to be honest.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that kind of sucks, because like music to me, honestly, music has become so important. And recently, I've noticed this with games. The only thing that makes me cry is music. In video games. For some reason, I don't know why, because I used to cry a lot while playing video games. Now, I legitimately cannot cry while playing a video game if like music is not playing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like if
music
the V12 part had like sad music in it.
Yeah.
Hey, like that would have made it work a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
it was just quiet. It was just ambiance. That's it.
Yeah. And I realized this. I was playing while playing Stray, I was also playing another game called Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And I was like,
another
it's like
game.
Another very small indie game, yes. No, it's like a huge giant JRPG made by Nintendo. One of Nintendo studios, I guess. And you know how the dialogue is in JRPG sometimes, it's like, oh, okay. And then they got to the point, there's like an optional quest you can do, and during that optional quest, the main theme of the first game plays, Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And I lost it. I was like, and the dialogue was like still the same dialogue. It was still blah, 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 whatever. But they played the theme and I completely lost my mind. Like I started sobbing. You know what I mean?
So no, absolutely. Babes, Khalifa, like Life is Strange has shit dialogue, okay?
Oh my God. Life is Strange. If Life is Strange did not have the soundtrack it had,
baby, it would have been like a 2 out of 5.
Fucking garbage. Life is Strange at 5 out of 5. And I don't give a lot of games 5 out of 5. If it did not have the soundtrack it had, like both the licensed music and the actual soundtrack that they made for the game, if it did not have both of those things, it would have been it would have been rough.
Absolutely. Life is Strange 2 really struggled because it didn't have as strong of a soundtrack as Life is Strange 1 had.
And True Colors, honestly, which is a shame.
Yeah, I didn't get to
You haven't played it, right?
Yeah, I didn't. Not yet.
Life is Strange also, True Colors also similarly struggles with music, unfortunately. So it's like none of it really hits that hard.
Even though Before the Storm, like fucking ate with the music, okay?
Before the Storm ate down. They ate down. The daughter got multiple checks because of that game. They used the entire discography.
They fucking carried. Okay.
Yeah, they
So
carried.
yeah, it's kind of sad for like a game like this. Like I wish there were like some memorable music, but there's nothing.
There's nothing. I
Not.
can't really remember anything. It fit the game. Like, it wasn't bad music, because bad music, oh, it stands out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it
Absolutely.
really stands out.
Yeah.
It was just, I'm talking to you, Breath of the Wild piano. Sounds like someone sat on a fucking piano and just like rubbed their ass all over it. It does. That's what Breath of the Wild soundtrack sounds like. It sounds like someone sat on a piano and rubbed their ass all over it. That's what it sounds like. It's just random piano notes, like
the fucking Guardian theme with like the piano like going wild, like.
I can't.
Bitch.
And it's like you go online and it's like, oh my god, Breath of the Wild has a great soundtrack. I'm like, this game had a soundtrack? This is just piano notes. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Anyways, we need a whole pod about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
anyways,
we really do.
We're gonna do a Spoilercast on too, probably in like 2025 or something.
Yeah,
when it comes out. So yeah, sadly, none of the music stands out. I will say, sound design was immaculate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Really great.
It was good. Especially
like
playing it with headphones, like the surround sound, the 3D audio, whatever they call it. It was good.
It sounded really, really great. And a lot of indie games don't have great sound design. So this really stuck out. Like every single floor type has a different sound. Every single thing you scratch has a different sound. When you drop objects, everything has a different sound. If there's water, it sounds, it's very, very detailed. And like
small things like meowing. If you're meowing in a big room, like there's no echo. If you're meowing in like a small room, like it's done really well.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say, that like if you drop something in like a bigger room, there's no echo, but if you drop it in a smaller room, there's echo, which I thought was really like really, really cool. Or the opposite, sorry, if it's a big room, there's echo. If it's small, there's no echo. Yeah, I thought it was great. I will say one gameplay thing that I thought was hilarious, because I was convinced there was a trophy for it. I was knocking all the paint over, thinking there's a trophy for knocking every single paint can.
Me too.
And there's nothing.
It does nothing. There's a useless one in the barber that you drop, and it's like, okay, it adds nothing. Like it doesn't do anything. It doesn't even change the dialogue. No one even mentions that you dropped the bucket in the barber.
I was like, if this is not a collectible for a trophy or whatever, why? Like, it's cool, it's cute, because cats do this. But like, why would you include this many paint cans everywhere in places that there shouldn't be paint cans?
Yeah.
So it's like,
honestly, it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. It's like for the sandboxiness of it all. It's like, okay, just mess around.
Yeah. Part of me wishes this entire game, I feel like there's a better version of the game where it's like this entire game was like hub areas, and it's like you just go around helping people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Which is what I thought the game would be, by the way.
Me too. Listen, when they first announced this, I did not expect to be going into an area with giant eyes looking at you like some sort of horror game. And it's like,
absolutely, yeah.
At that moment in the game, I was like, what the fuck is this game? Like, what is happening? You know what I mean? So I wish, I don't know. It feels like all the Zerk stuff was added last minute, honestly. Like,
can I say something like really weird about the Zerks?
Yeah.
They really grossed me out, Khalifa, to the extent where I didn't have a good meal ever while I was playing the game. My first good meal happened after I finished playing the game because the Zerks grossed me out that much. I don't know why. This has never happened to me before with anything in media. But every time I would eat, or I would try to eat something while playing Stray, like not while playing, but in the same day I played Stray, I would just think about the Zerks and I wouldn't eat. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Yeah,
out of everything, this is the thing that grossed you out?
Yeah.
And you've played Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know
like in Mortal Kombat,
you
rip out fucking backbones and shit.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? You know how like when you kill them, they like pop?
Yeah.
That is what grossed me out so much. I have no idea why, and like I've been scared of eating anything because I'm scared of one of them popping in my mouth. I don't know. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. Let's just move on. But this did happen.
Okay.
But this did happen. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else generally about Stray? Like general thoughts, how do you feel about it before we wrap?
Honestly, there are the game didn't offend me at all. Like it wasn't everything I wanted. I did expect a little bit more. I was disappointed by the ending. I did. There was a disappointing chapter. I would still give it an 8, a 4, like 4 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Even though this game is short, my first playthrough was 12 hours, which is
I don't know
insane.
how the fuck.
Khalifa, I have, because a lot of my playthrough was just me scratching. Wallah, like I'm not even like I'm just scratching.
Mubarak, I thoroughly explored every single area. Okay, thoroughly. I was in there for like more time than I should have been. Wired. And I ended my playthrough with 5 hours on the clock.
I have no idea how.
Did you leave the game on by accident?
No, only for one thing. The only thing I did where the game stayed on was there's a trophy if you sleep for an hour.
For 1 hour, I know.
Yeah, I just did that. Like I went to sleep and I left my PlayStation on. I did something else and then I came back.
You went to sleep?
No, not in real life, in the game.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay, that explains it. But like, yeah, I don't know how you ended up with the 12 hours on the clock. I really don't. That's crazy.
No clue. No clue.
That's crazy. Yeah, I beat it in 5 hours. I think ultimately I found it really disappointing because I went in expecting this to be top 3 Annapurna. And I get that that's on me. Maybe like looking at the trailers, I should have realized that there's no way this was going to be as good as Sayonara or Outer Wilds or Edith Finch, which are my top 3 Annapurna games. I don't know. I just had that hope because it looked... Annapurna publishes smaller indie games. This looked like AAA. Like, this looks amazing. This game looks great.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe like they put their whole bussies into this. You know what I mean? Like, truly...
And maybe they did. And maybe they did with the marketing. Like, it's fucking everywhere.
Yeah. And ultimately, I played it and I was like, oh, this feels like, I don't know, gameplay-wise, this feels like a PS3 era, you know.
But you know,
one of these games.
It reached the target audience, which is like the TikTok girlies, you know?
Yeah. It's selling. I'm pretty sure it sold very well. So I'm pretty sure Sony paid them a bunch of money to get it on their service, like day one. It's very... It's just I wish it was a little better.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean?
mean?
Me too.
Yeah. So I gave it 3.5 out of 5.
I give it a 4.
I have a personal Annapurna ranking of their games because I do love the company so much, and they, like, as I said at the beginning, they're a bit of a seal of approval for me. Number 8 of 16.
Oh yeah, like, smack dab in the middle. Yeah, you did show me.
Smack dab in the middle. Yeah, smack dab in the middle. Annapurna released another game this year called Neon White, which is right above it. They also released Hindsight, which I didn't play yet. I might play now, actually, after this. Yeah, I just wish
Solar
it was better.
Ash released this year or the year before that?
Solar Ash was 2021.
Oh, okay. So last year.
Last year. Yeah, Annapurna's great. I don't want this to become the Annapurna pod, but recently it's giving MCU TV a little bit, like quantity over quality a little bit, and it's a bit concerning because like I don't want them to lose that seal of approval. Because like Stray's fine and Neon White is fine and whatever, but like 12 minutes was atrocious in Borak. You didn't play 12 minutes, right?
I did not. No, I was going to, and I was really excited. I was really excited for it because it was Annapurna, but then you were like, Borak, don't come close to this game. And I was like, okay.
It's Annapurna, and it's like also the concept is so interesting, but the game was terrible. And like maquette was awful. So it's like it's just like, damn, you know what I mean? I hope.
Yeah.
Stray wasn't bad. Stray was good. Like Annapurna, but Stray, like a few years ago, if they had come out with Stray, it would have been my least favorite Annapurna game. You know what I mean? Because their quality was so consistently high that it's like even something as good as Stray is like the lowest they can go.
Yeah. I will say,
yeah.
So Sayonara Wild Hearts, even though I finished it, I never deleted off of my PlayStation. It's always
I always
there.
go back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
It has become a ritual for me that my first completion of every year is Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Wow.
Yeah, I play it on January 1st every year. I've played it, like, I've done that since release.
And if you're listening and you've never played Sayonara Wild Hearts,
God, please go check it out.
trust
Do
us.
not look up anything about it. Just please buy it. It's really cheap. It's really short. It's worth every single penny. If interactive sounds good to you, buy it. Just buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's something
such
really
an experience.
special.
Yeah.
It's the last game that I played that I looked around and I was like, this is special.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about Stray. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I never deleted the Sayonara Wild Hearts off of my PlayStation, but as soon as I got that platinum, honey, Stray was gone in the trash bin.
I
wouldn't revisit it. Yeah.
And you know I'm a crazy trophy collector. You know this about me. Yeah. I don't feel like playing through Stray again to get the trophies.
Oop.
You know what I mean? I just don't. I just don't. I don't feel like touching it again. Which ultimately is like one of the worst things you can say about a game.
Yeah. So do you have a lot left, or is it just the speedrun one?
I have a lot left. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I missed scratching in one chapter, and I don't want to go through everything and like scratch. I was like, I don't want to do this. I missed like the one where you have to like not get hit during the chase.
Okay.
And it's like, if I miss it, I have to replay the entire chapter again. I was like, I don't want to do that.
You know, you can replay only that section.
How?
Like that whole section of like, oh, don't get hit during the chase.
Oh, reload checkpoint.
I replayed that like 30 times. It happens at the beginning of that of its chapter, and it happens at the beginning of its chapter, and like it's you reload the checkpoint.
I missed that one, and I missed the one where it's like chapter 10, and I was like, oh, this is gonna frustrate the fuck out of me. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and it is frustrating.
And there's the speedrun trophy, which is like, I don't feel like playing through this entire game again. I don't.
Period.
So Period. It's like, I'm not gonna do that. I have other things to play. Bless her heart, but I moved on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Whew.
And that's it.
That's
the Stray Spoilercast.
Our very first gaming Spoilercast. If you liked this, there are more coming. We don't know when. We don't know how. The gaming schedule is a little bit fucked up.
I do feel like we should give notice for video games specifically because they are longer and it's like people have to prepare for them. So we are definitely doing one on God of War Ragnarok. So when that comes out, play it and then listen to our pod. Like if there's any story-centric game, like any Telltale stuff, any Don't Not stuff, Life is Strange, stuff like that, we will be doing Spoilercast on them. So yeah.
Period. With that, this has been another episode of MK Spoilercast. If you like this, please follow us on social media at the MK Pod. That's TheMKAYPOD. The MK Pod. TheMKAYPOD on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And with that, have a wonderful rest of your gaming lives.
Meow. Bye.
Meow. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Take you too.